Hey there, I'm Emile and this is my dad.
I'm Jim.
This is my fish and today we're going to be talking about what's in the shell. So we've got some mussels, some scallops, and some clams. Mussels are just such a lovely, lovely treat. Great appetizer, great main. What do we look for when we're shopping for a mussel?
You know, really what you're looking for is kind of like, think about the ocean. It should be cold and it should be wet. And,
yeah.
You know, here's a good example of a beautiful PEI mussel. Nice and dark shell. And see how they are dark? That's because they're nice and wet.
Yeah.
So also, you're looking for a strong shell. Caleb, if you rip in here a little bit, see how I'm trying to push the mussel off its shell? But it's too tough, Emile. It's got too much mussels. What else do you have to do to a mussel before you cook it?
It looks like over here you're giving them a little rinse.
I have to do something.
We've got some wet paper towel that we put on top of the mussels before we refrigerate them. That's going to keep them nice and wet, make sure that they're closed. Outside of that, it's a pretty simple process. You'll see that they've got some of these little kind of hairs coming out the side. That's what we call sort of the beard of a mussel.
You know, we used to have to peel these for hours. You'd get a 50-pound bag and you get like 20 pounds of mussels. It was crazy. So you pull those off, and once you pull these off and you've given them a rinse, they're pretty much ready to go.
Exactly.
So you can steam them, you can do them in the pan, add a little bit of flavor, some curry. It's phenomenal. Now I'm going to show you a pro tip, and that is what I call the French spoon. So when you're eating your mussels, you just kind of take one, slip it on the fork like that, and use that as a spoon. But don't tell anybody you're going to do it. Just do it because it's way cooler. So we've got some. No laugh. That was the best. So we've got some cooked mussels here. Why don't you try that one? That's in a pasta.
Absolutely, they look lovely.
Yeah, they really do. And this is a mussel that's just straight up steamed. And the big thing with mussels is you want to make sure they're fully cooked. Yeah, you want to kind of make sure they're kind of back on themselves.
Yeah.
No, I can't use the French spoon on this one. It's just too tough. So what do we have next?
Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about clams. Pretty similar to mussels in terms of how you shop for them. You're looking for those closed shelled.
You know, this is how you should keep them. Like we said with the mussels, you want to keep them cold and wet. And what I like to do when I get them home is give them a quick rinse. There won't be a lot of sand on them, but you want to get rid of the sand that there is. And then check the edge. You want to make sure that that edge is nice and sealed, no cracks. If there is a cracked one, discard it. It's, you know, you got lots of clams. Don't forget about it. You got to make sure it's a nice sauce. The other way you can get clams are in the can. There's some good ones and there's some bad ones. These are amazing. These are a clam from Quebec, and man, I love these. They come cooked just like that, and instant pasta.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I remember one of the first times that I cooked clams, I completely undercooked them, in brutal honesty.
Yeah.
What do you think is the sort of the trick to cooking clams?
Well, the big thing with clams is that they don't all cook at the same amount of time. Did I ever tell you about eating raw clams?
No, you haven't.
Dude, the first time I had raw clams, it was just like that. It was shucked on the shell, Coney Island, New York.
Wow.
Amazing. You want to make sure, like always, that you're really dealing with somebody who knows their product, because it was a super fresh clam. Just had a little bit of horseradish on it, and it was phenomenal.
Amazing.
Taste one of these, tell me what you think.
Yeah, let's see.
That's a little bit of garlic butter. And you know what I'm going to use on this one is my French spoon. So what do you think is the difference between a clam and a mussel as far as flavor?
I've tasted a lot more brine in this one than the mussel. I think it's really a nice kind of variance on the mussel flavor.
Yeah, you check these things. And you know what we have next are, I'm feeling the Gilligan's Island kind of a vibe.
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of bikini you were making over here.
So these are scallop shells, and this is the way a scallop grows. So this is a little bay scallop, and that is kind of what happens. Pops it open, and that's the size of scallop that you get out of a shell like that.
My God, I can't imagine how big a scallop shell for something like this would be.
Really big. So two sizes we have here. These are a bay scallop. These are really awesome for a pasta. You can use them in a ceviche, a really good just quick stir fry as well. And these ones are a sea scallop. These are actually from Hokkaido, Japan. Really nice scallop. They're farmed, and the only thing you have to do is remove this adductor muscle. Here, why don't you slice one up for a little ceviche?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you take off this adductor muscle because it's kind of chewy. These ones are about a U12, so that means there's around 12 scallops per pound, and amazing. Probably the most classic thing is a seared scallop, so just like this. And then as Emile slicing them there, doing a nice vinaigrette ceviche. You know, I don't know if you remember Graham, your old babysitter. He worked on a scallop boat.
Okay.
And on the scallop boat, the scallops come out of the ocean and they're cracking them open, shucking them, and they're cutting them off the shell. And he was leaving this much, and they said, "Sorry, Graham, no more shucking for you. You can go wind the rope," because he was losing too much.
You got to get it all. That's valuable meat there.
Exactly. Well, let's try one of these seared babies here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna try the ceviche.
Yeah, awesome, man. And this is something you really should have in your arsenal of cooking. A seared scallop and a ceviche are the ones. Super delicious. So that's a trilogy. You got your mussels, you got your clams,
Yeah.
and you got your scallops.
Make sure they're cold. Make sure they're closed when you buy them. You know, give them a rinse. Keep them cold when you have them at home, and take the time to debeard them.
And have some fun.
Honestly. So with ceviche, the reason that we're going to be cutting these scallops into thin layers like this is to make sure that we can expose as much of the scallop meat to the lime juice that's going to actually work as the cooking action in a ceviche. Basically, we want to cut these into thin layers, and then we're going to marinate them in lemon or lime juice as well as some herbs. And that action's actually going to cook them.
And you know, the thing with scallops is, like, the bigger the ones are way more expensive. But a ceviche works really well on these ones too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can mix it up. You can go some whitefish, you can use some bay scallops, and you can use some shrimp if you like.
Yeah, for sure. Similar to this mussel pasta here, the bay scallops will really, you know, sort of spread out well in the pasta.
I'm diving in with one more.
Yeah, for sure. Let me try one of these.
You got it.
Swift clams. Whoopsie.
It's in my leg.
Can you pass me a fork? I'd love to try these seared scallops.
Do you want the one that's sticking out of my leg?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Ceviche.
Oh, let me try these canned first.
Yeah, those are phenomenal. You know, I've got a good friend who uses those for pasta, for camping. Phenomenal.
That'd make a good lunchbox treat.
Well, you're the son of a fishmonger. I'm having one more mussel. You want a taste of that one?
I still got to try these seared scallops, actually. Pardon
They're
my
delicious.
reach here, yeah.
Excuse my reach. I'm going. What? No cheers?
That is delicious.
That's super tasty. I love the flavor of that. So easy, so tasty.
Amazing.